Thank you to Enlisted for sponsoring today's video. So during my 20 years of enlisted service in the United States Navy, I took college classes for over half that time. I was always taking either one and sometimes two if I had the time, college classes in the evening, in addition to my work on the submarine and of course on shore duty as well. And this was great for me because I was combining academic classroom knowledge and training with real world travel and experience. I was able to go and see the countries, the places and cultures that I was learning about in the classroom and seeing how it really translated in real life. And it ended up being a great experience for me. So after I got out of the Navy, I had all these college credits, but I didn't have a degree. So I went to a private college in Florida, got my computer science degree, but wouldn't you know it, right as I graduate, I get stuck with a $50,000 student loan bill because the private college had exceeded the GI Bill allotment that I had, which was quite a bit of money, and also spent $50,000 that I had to pay. So I got my degree, but it was very expensive. And that's why I was very happy to find out about this program right here that is not widely publicized. So I'm bringing it to your attention. So hopefully you can take advantage of this. Now, I have paid off my student loan. I no longer owe anyone any money as far as that goes, but perhaps you have student loan debt, and I'm here to tell you about this public service loan forgiveness. So in December 2023, the Department of Education here in the United States forgave $5 billion of student loan debt if you qualified for the program. And just last week, the President of the United States, probably because it's an election year, but we can't look a gift horse in the mouth here, said he's authorizing a second wave of $5 billion of student loan forgiveness. Now, in my case, veterans with 8 years of continuous service or more qualified for some student loan forgiveness, but it goes beyond that. This goes to school teachers, not just vets, any kind of public service worker, whether you're city, county, state, or federal, all qualify for this, but you have to call and find out exactly what your benefits are. So I just wanted to bring this to everyone's attention. I had no idea about this program. I wish I had taken advantage of it. It might have saved me tens of thousands of dollars. So I offer it to you. Definitely look this up. Public service loan forgiveness. They just got $5 billion more this month to forgive student loans with. Take advantage of that. And the reason why I qualified is because I was enlisted. So I want you to check out this sponsor's Enlisted. It's free. Squad-based combat first-person shooter that combines PvP with PvE. Take command of an AI-controlled squad like these soldiers here and lead them off in the most pivotal battles of World War II against squads of other players. You fight as US, Germany, Soviets, and Japan. Unlock weapons and tanks like this or aircraft to customize your squad. Enlisted has a huge update recently that added research trees and weapons like this, vehicles as well, and the matchmaker is based on your equipment level, and tons of gameplay improvements have been included based on player feedback. They actually listen to us players to improve the game. Play Enlisted for free on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox now by using my link. And new players on PC will receive a special bonus pack that includes multiple items, 4,000 silver, 3 days premium account time. This offer is only available for a limited time, so make sure you don't miss it. When you register your new PC account for Enlisted, you'll receive a free bonus pack the first time you log in. For my USA bonus pack brothers, you get the Enfield P14 rifle, the Colt new service revolver. Click the link in the description now. All right, let's talk about Astrobotic's trip to the moon that went awry here. This is a Peregrine 1, if I'm saying that name right. It's spelled Peregrine. This is Astrobotic's joint venture with NASA to deliver multiple payloads to the moon, and it suffered a failure after launch and didn't really complete its mission, but I thought the mission was worth talking about here. Here is the NASA's payload. The mission was to locate water and measure radiation on the moon and a number of other things to learn more about the moon surface and the environment, so that when we do send astronauts there, we know even more about that and can have a better, more successful manned mission that's coming up. So this is the actual lunar lander here. Pretty cool. But this is what happened to it, unfortunately. Right after launch, which went pretty well, they had something called rocket separation. So when it's in flight, it goes through multiple stages. Those of you that play the Kerbal Space Program, you've seen this, or if you've watched an actual rocket launch from NASA, you've probably seen this too. But as the rockets were separating on one of those stages. They had a malfunction, or an anomaly, as they call it in NASA speak, that resulted in a fuel leak. Well, this throws off the mass, which throws off the math, not to mention the fuel. They don't have nearly as much as they thought they had. All that stuff together led to the result of not rendezvousing with the moon properly, but the spacecraft was still on its trajectory to go around the moon. It did return to Earth, and of course they manually commanded it to scuttle itself here in the southern Pacific Ocean. This is where it landed, or where it re-entered anyway. It didn't land, just north of New Zealand, in an area of the world that's, obviously no land mass, it's over water. And they always put out a notice to mariners days in advance before anything like this happens. Whether it's a rocket launch or it's a re-entry like this, they'll put a notice out there saying, hey, if you're fishing in this area, don't be between these coordinates, because something's going to happen. And when it's a rocket launch, they'll usually tell you it's, rocket activity or whatever. Whenever we're testing our ICBMs, we put those out all the time. Cape Canaveral over Florida, going out over the Atlantic Ocean. Anybody that's familiar with that area will see these regularly, because they're always doing some kind of rocket launch out of that facility there. So Astrobotic was a public-private venture with NASA. They had planned on doing multiple missions to the moon. After this, I don't know if they're going to do any more. I certainly hope they do. Don't let one failure stop you. If anything, rebuild this lander and try it again. Get back on the horse, right? So now the next one that's coming up that I'm kind of keeping an eye out for is from Japan. Japan has something called SLIM. So they Googled how to make those letters work, and they came up with Smart Lander for Investigating the Moon, which is literally what this thing is going to do whenever it gets there. A lot of the same measurements. Well, they're just going to learn more about the moon and its environment. Whether it's water or radiation, it's going to take samples and just learn more about the origins of it, which when I went to school, they told us that something had hit the Earth, broke off a large part of it, and that became what is now the moon. Maybe that's not true. Maybe we'll find out through this mission that it was something completely different than that. Who knows? But I love these types of missions out there. This is why I bring it up to your attention. But one of the cool technologies that Japan's putting on their spaceship is this. It is a rapid photo imaging altimeter. So it's measuring its distance from the spacecraft to the moon's surface through photos. So it's rapidly taking photos one after the other, probably at the speed of video by human standards, and measuring its distance down to the surface. That's really cool. And I imagine it's much lighter, or has less mass, as they speak in NASA terms, than an actual radar altimeter that's transmitting a signal and bouncing it back and stuff like that. This one's going to take photos, I imagine several times a second, and watch how it changes from photo to photo to measure the distance. And when you think about it, it's just geometry, but it's geometry happening at the speed of a machine. Like, no human could do this. You would need a machine, which is what they're doing on board. It's completely autonomous. So hopefully this mission goes off without a hitch. I look forward to SLIM making a successful landing on the moon and proving that this technology works, in addition to all the other testing that they're doing. And when that happens, which I believe is this year, we'll bring it to you here on this channel. But we are a Navy channel, so we got to talk about Navy stuff. Let's head over to Taiwan, where they're building their first new class of vessel in I don't know how long, maybe ever, because they've been using our old World War or Cold War era Knox class frigates from, I don't know, the 1970s or something forever. Well, they're finally building their own surface warship here. This one has been on the design board and been talked about forever, years, maybe decades. Well, they're finally getting around to building it, but it's not what they wanted to originally. Originally, they were thinking they wanted a frigate, 4,500 tons, AESA radar, built by Taiwan, all in-house equipment. That's the goal of pretty much every Navy, is to have their own country, make their own weapons and sensors and put them on their own ships. Well, they had to make some compromises to even get this going. The first compromise was the weight. This is a 2,500 ton light frigate is what they're calling this, light frigate. So it's just a little more than half the size of the original plan. And it's going to be 115 meters long. So in this little boat, they are going to put an AESA radar, because that's the standard by today's standards, but they're going to buy it from BAE. That's the British multinational arms and security aerospace company based out of London. They make AESA radars. One of them is called the Artisan. They're going to put the BAE Artisan radar on the top mast of this new class of light frigate that I don't even have a name for yet, because all the names that they were suggesting in the past, I don't know if they're going to use those. So whenever they do finally come up with the name, which they should do before commissioning, we'll know the name of this class. Speaking of commissioning, Taiwan is planning on putting this ship out, commissioning it in 2026. So they're going to build a new class of warship, 2,500 tons, in 2 years. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm pressing X for doubt right now, but I want your comments. You just tell me what you think. If Taiwan, who hasn't built a new class of warship, probably ever, I can't remember them ever doing this, is going to build one in 2 years. Just because it's small doesn't mean it's easy. It might actually be harder because it's smaller. You got less room to put all the equipment that they want to put in on this. So if they do commission it in 2026, of course, we'll cover it. We should have a class name by then. We do know that they want to build 2 versions of this. This is another reason to doubt this, is they're going to have an ASW, an anti-submarine warfare variant, and an anti-air variant. And the mission, the purpose of this class of light frigate that they want to build 10 of, is to monitor Chinese warships and fishing ships that operate around the island of Taiwan, and of course, aircraft and submarines in the vicinity as well. So both variants will have surface warfare capability, and then there will be an ASW focused variant, and then there will be an air defender variant that comes along with it. So it's 2 total variants. Both can do surface warfare, and then they have specialties after that. So looking forward to see what they come up with. They cut steel on this week, so the construction is happening finally. And when we know more, I'll bring it to you here. Anyway, thanks for Enlisted for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to play it for free on PC, also PlayStation and Xbox. Using my links in the description. New PC players, though, we're special. We're going to get a special bonus pack that includes multiple items and in-game currency and premium account time. So I hope to take advantage of my link in the description. All right, we started the video talking about 3M, talking about benefits to veterans. Something that happened years ago is we had hearing protection in the military that wasn't very good, and this was one of them. 3M had built or provided to the military. I believe they did federal law enforcement agencies as well, but I know the U.S. Navy used these. The Combat Arms earplug. This is a picture of what it used to look like. This is the one that was defective. So apparently it was not effective at preventing hearing loss for whenever you went to the firing range to qualify for small arms. You know, it helped a little bit, but it wouldn't protect you from tinnitus and other ailments. Well, after years of going through the courts, this thing has been in litigation forever, it seems. I remember getting a notice about this class action lawsuit back in like 2014 or 15, a long time ago. Anyway, and if you are a part of the program, I've got some good news for you. They finally came to a settlement last August. 3M is going to pay $6 billion with a B, $6 billion to approximately 30,000 claimants. So that's not necessarily 30,000 people, because claimants can be like a law firm. It can be all sorts of representation, not just a person. But $6 billion is going to be paid out to 30,000 claimants over the next 5 years. So if you were a part of this program, I got great news for you. You're probably going to get some sort of settlement between now and 2029. So be looking for that. 3M has come to this. And this is the second of 2 that I'm aware of lawsuits that were paid out by 3M for hearing protection. The first set of earplugs, they came to a lawsuit settlement all the way back in 2018, where they had to pay $9.1 million. So don't confuse those 2. If you got paid for that first lawsuit, that may not mean you qualify for this one. But just know that if you were like me and you got those letters years ago, well, they finally came to an agreement, and you should get some kind of settlement. It would be ironic if it ends up being like $5. Don't be surprised if it's very, very low. But some of you may get more than that. I did not use this earplug, so I didn't put in my paperwork, because I wasn't going to take away money from people who actually did lose their hearing because they use this. I use the foamy earplugs, and so those seem to work pretty well. Anyway, so I hope those of you that were injured by this device, you get a fair settlement, and I hope it compensates you for the hearing loss. Most of us lost hearing for other reasons. We didn't get compensated for that.